The governorship candidate of Labour Party, Gbadebo Rhodes-Viver, is addressing a World Press Conference to address irregularities arising from the governorship election in Lagos. Let's cross live to the event.
Good afternoon, Lagos. I start by once again thanking Lagosians for their courage, for making decisions based on hope and resisting fear that the ruling party tried to put in them. They came out in spite of all of that, and they showed remarkable courage. And I want to thank Lagos for that. Our message from when we first started and still till today, both His Excellency Peter Obi and myself, has always been about empathy, love, good governance that is both open and accountable. Yesterday, I spent my day visiting victims of Saturday's state-backed terrorism and violence. From Abule Ado to Surulere to Apapa to Ikeja, I met with young men and women that had bullets lodged in their chin, in their face. Just as about to come and take a seat here, I was told that one of our polling agents from Ward K1 in Trade Fair just passed away. I saw people with lacerations cut all over their body. Young men with fractured legs that we had to pay over 800,000 for their surgery. And I want to take this moment to reach out to all of these people that in spite of all the attempts to put fear in them, they stood against it and came out in hope and courage. That I am with you. We are with you. Myself, my deputy governor, the party, we are together, we are with you, we are by your side. And it is not just lip service. Today we launched the platform called grvcares2023.com. Please, anyone that has been a victim of electoral violence, log onto this website, upload evidence of this violence, upload your hospital bills, upload a police report if you have it, and we will offset your hospital bills. Because empathy and love is not just lip service, it's in the action. Love is action. And for people that came out in hope and courage, we are going to show that we stand by you, we value you, and we appreciate you. Yesterday, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu called for healing. But healing cannot happen without justice. The APC unleashed evil on Lagosians, spiritually with their fetish diabolic rites that were done during the day, and physically with violence that was unleashed on all Lagosians. There's an attempt to make this seem as though it was a Yoruba versus Igbo situation, and it was limited to certain areas, but it was widespread across the whole of Lagos, from Koshofe to Shomolu to Ikeja. Everybody was affected. Everybody was disenfranchised. Yet they want peace, but it's not really peace that they want. They want the peace of a graveyard. They want healing without addressing the issues of bringing justice, so they want the healing of the dead. The thrust of my message is not to the evil cult organization of the APC, but it is to the indigenous Lagosians and Lagosians at large. We cannot afford to have an agberocracy, a militant type of government in Lagos State. We all believe that we had gone past this type of politics. We all believe that democracy had been deepened. But we saw not just violence and diabolic means of trying to restrain and belittle the people of Lagos to create a one-party state, all the way from Ikoyi to Ikeja to Ikorodu, were all disenfranchised. They could not campaign based on their past record, so they stoked ethnic strife. For the ambition of one man and his cult, the entire credibility that INEC had built over the last 4 years was ripped into shreds in one day. For the ambition of one man and his cult, We saw our traditional institutions reduced to pawns, to tools, or rites that were supposed to be done at night and witnessed by only the people that have been initiated into the Oro institution was being done during the day, invoking in broad daylight the spell that Senator Tinubu and his cult have used to keep Lagos bound. There was no election in Lagos State. It was violence at multiple levels, physically and diabolically. On this ambition, they sowed seeds that potentially can lead to things that we have seen in other countries like the Rwandan genocide. Seeds of discord, seeds that othered our neighbors and people that we have known and have balance and harmony in this state. My dear Lagosians, our enemy they are not our neighbors or our visitors or fellow Lagosians. Regardless of their diverse tongues, our common enemy is violence, insecurity, poverty, stagnation, corruption, and underdevelopment. And the same people responsible for all the things I've listed weaponize poverty and ethnicity to distract us from their evil endeavors and diabolical activities. We will never have free and fair elections under a Tinubu presidency because we can see by their antecedents, you can predict what is to come. Instead, we'll have a military-type one-party system that seeks to disenfranchise and suppress people as opposed to engaging the people, selling their mandates, accounting for the stewardship of whatever positions that they've had. We've seen it happen in presidential to a lesser extent, and we saw their entire vision for Lagos State on Saturday. They have tried to destroy years of delicately balanced ethnic relations, years of intermarriage and friendships, years of commerce, and years of building Lagos into the economic juggernaut that it is. I call on the silent majority, the decent and cultured Lagosians, to speak out. Silence in this regard is not golden. Silence in this regard is acceptance and support. And we cannot be silent. It is enough of the worst of us defining the rest of us. On Saturday, we saw the APC's vision for Lagos, an agberocracy, a government by the agberos, for the agberos, and for the thugs and people that choose to suppress the good people of Lagos. We were all victims. This was not a tribal thing. We were all victims, even as shielded as Ikoyi is, as shielded as VGC is. Everybody, Yoruba, Igbo, South, Northerners even, in Isheri, they tried to discriminate against the Northerners that were obedient, that wanted to vote Labour Party. So this is not Igbo versus Yoruba, that's just a cloud that they are trying to use to hide their diabolical agenda for Lagos State. And this agberocracy will affect us all, because the moment that we have thugs running affairs, we have thugs being enabled by the government, we have thugs carrying out state-backed terrorism, we have thugs that the police look the other side with their actions, we have thugs that carry out all sorts of violence against the people of Lagos. Anybody, I, will eventually be victims of this thing. It will not discriminate whether I speak Yoruba or Hausa or Igbo. It will not discriminate. Lawlessness will affect us all. And a society like Lagos was built on laws. We have the finest lawyers, the finest judges, the judiciary was birthed in Lagos State. We're a city of laws. and lawlessness has become the order of the day under the APC government. And we have seen their vision for Lagos. And we are going to fight it through all legal means, because now more than ever, Lagos is in desperate need for us to birth our Lagos. A Lagos that is accountable, a Lagos that is open, a Lagos that is law-abiding, a Lagos that is holy, a Lagos that is pure, that believes in love and empathy, a Lagos where the people are allowed to express themselves regardless of who they want to vote for, a Lagos that will not be diabolically suppressed by evil people, a Lagos that will not be suppressed by violence, a Lagos that will not be suppressed by importing thugs from all over the southwest to come and enact violence against the same people that you want to govern. It is time to end that Lagos. It's time for our Lagos. We cannot afford to be silent. The good people, the cultured people, the decent people, indigenes of Lagos and Lagosians at large, we cannot be silent. We cannot leave this to the non-indigenes to stand up and fight. We cannot afford to associate ourselves with this level of thuggery, hooliganism that these people are trying to paint all of us as. We must talk. We must show disgust and disdain for this type of governance. We must stand up proud and say, no, this is not what we stand for. This is not the government, not in our name. And we are going to go through all legal processes to ensure that we retrieve this mandate, the mandate of so many people that were hurt, mutilated, killed. And we're going to see it all the way through. But this call is to you, people of Lagos. This is not the time for silence. We need you to speak up. We cannot afford for this discord to come in the south. These are two of the greatest ethnicities, greatest tribes in Nigeria and in Africa as a whole. In their coming together in a handshake across the Niger, Nigeria is unstoppable. And we will not allow one man, because of his selfish ambition, to destroy this work that Afenifere, the Pandef, the Middle Belt, all this forward that have tried so hard to bring us together. We will not allow the ambition of one man to destroy it. So I'm here to speak to you, to your hearts, to your minds. Please, this is not time for silence. Reach out to people. Reach out to our fellow Lagosians and Lagosians at large. And let us seek to stand against this oppression, because it is only in the presence of justice that healing can begin. God bless you, Lagos. We love you. And for those that were harmed during this event, please log on to GRV Cares 2023. We are going to show our love by offsetting your bills, your hospital bills, because we stand by you and we are proud of you for making decisions based on hope and not fear. God bless you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Please start by introducing yourself, your media house, and then your question.
So let me ask you this question. Those people who are injured and are still receiving treatment at the moment, what assurances do we have that they are members of the party one? And what assurances do we have that they are actually attacked by those who you have alleged to be behind the family?
We have videos. We have a plethora of video evidence. We know our polling unit agents. We know our polling unit supporters. Yesterday, when I was in Apapa, there was a young man that was next to another young man that was a victim of a machete being cut across his entire face. We have the video of it. We have the pictures of it. We know for a fact that he was an agent at this particular polling unit. And the doctor said, while you are supporting this young man, please, can you also support this young man? He has a surgery. But that had nothing to do with our elections. So we know ourselves, right? We had agents all across Lagos State. So there is no doubt. There is no speculation. There is nothing. We know the damage and harm that came to our agents all across Lagos. Right? So it is not in question.
How much confidence do you have in the judiciary to get a plea for all of this?
I believe that judiciary is aware of all of this. I believe that judiciary understands the importance of peace, and they know that the role that they are going to play is going to define the peace that we have in this country. And my family literally laid the foundations for judiciary in this country. So I have a lot of faith in the judiciary, and I believe they will do the right thing. And I appeal on this day to the president of the appeal court that's going to decide on the judges that is going to send for a tribunal hearings. And I appeal to him today that he should do his due diligence on these men and women and ensure that they are not people that are easily corruptible, not people that can be bought, because we are struggling for the soul, not just of Lagos at this point, but of Nigeria. We are struggling to preserve democracy, trying to preserve democracy and not have it evolve into a bureaucracy, a situation where thugs and militants determine our leadership, and we cannot vent or hold our politicians to account because they are going to use machetes and guns to suppress us and silence us. This is what is at stake right now, our future. And we cannot afford for it to go into the hands of these evil, diabolical people.
So, I'm not the bearer of bad news. My name is Neo from New Central. If you do go to court, but let's say you didn't get back your mandate, what's next for GRV?
We are going to follow the court process all the way to the Supreme Court. And aside from that, simultaneously, we are strengthening this new movement. If you notice, from when I first came out in politics, I said my mission is to bring an entire new voter demographic to the ballot box. Because the ones that have been there all this time are mainly people that vote based on their stomach. Because people are poor, people are suffering. And politicians have weaponized this poverty. So it only makes sense that people that go to work, that have a job, that can afford to say no to 1,000 naira, to 5,000 naira, are also part of this equation that determines our leadership. So we are going to nurture this new voter demographic. We are going to strengthen our political structures. We are going to engage more with the rural communities, with people that have been left behind. We are going to ensure that this movement is galvanized fully, so that we are producing local government chairmen, right? We stand strong in any potential political position that is going to come forward, and continue to push for the interests of Lagosians and Nigerians at large.
My name is Faith from Olaru. During the presidential election, Labour Party had much votes and didn't complain much about this and everything. But now, what has changed? And you know, in democracy, it's a game of numbers. Are you complaining about the process or the actual number of votes that the party got?
If you watch the interviews that I had interviews on Arise TV, I gave press conferences, and I complained about the rape of elections during the presidential election. Because our situation room shows that we had over 900,000 votes compared to what they announced for us. Our situation room we also saw a lot of violence, a lot of intimidation, a lot of suppression, but it was nothing compared to the militia attack that was unleashed on the whole of Lagos on Saturday. What we are complaining about is not numbers. Please don't get me wrong. It is the new type of democracy. Actually, I insult the word democracy by even associating what happened on Saturday. The bureaucracy that these people are trying to institute. And what you find with this APC government is that when they push and they get through with it, they only get more emboldened to do more. And it only becomes deeper and deeper. It's like a cancer. They spread. They will infect the judiciary, compromise them as much as they can. Then they go into INEC, compromise it. They go into our traditional institutions, they compromise it all through. So I'm not here to talk about the numbers or whatever. We are compiling our case. My legal team is already on top of it. We are filing our case. That's not what the topic of conversation is. The topic of conversation is that well-meaning Lagosians, indigenes of Lagos, must stand up and show that they are disdain, because they are talking about it. They are writing articles. But we must not let these people believe that this is the new normal. We must stand up against it. We must show that their government is without legitimacy because it was broad daylight rape. How do you, in Oregon, which is predominantly Yoruba, you chase away with planks and matches all the polling unit agents? In Ikeja, in Koshofe, in Shomolu, you are shooting people are dying. Are we having an election or is it war? Right? And that is what we are bringing, because we cannot afford to be quiet. You see, in Nigeria, a lot of things are done and then they're swept under the carpet. A snake came and it swallowed 600 million or 60 million. We laugh about it, it's swept under the carpet. They are doing an inquiry into the accounts of an institution, they burn it down, we laugh about it, it's swept under the carpet. And we are just experiencing Nigeria that is getting worse and worse and worse. My father told me of a Nigeria that was better in his day. His father told him of a Nigeria that was better in his day. Today, I can tell my children that I know a Nigeria that was better than what I'm experiencing today. So at what point are we going to stand and say, no, enough is enough? And that's why I'm calling this. To let the people know, we are not going to go into the dark. We are not going to go into silence. We are going to stand up and consistently be pointing out the diabolical, violent process that happened on Saturday and the lack of legitimacy that this government has. Thank you.
Nicholas from Inspiration FM. My question is, like your principal is also going to the court to claim his mandate. You're also going to do the same. But you talk about how APC have been able to affect the judiciary in a kind of way. And a lot of common man out there don't believe the Supreme Court is going to give a verdict that will favor the Labour Party. So what do you have to say concerning the judiciary? I
make my decisions out of hope, not fear. You see, I've been to courts in this whole process. I got an injunction, a mandamus order against INEC to make sure that they transmit results from the polling units. I got it through the judiciary in Lagos State here. I got an injunction from the same judiciary that bans INEC from using MCU Lomo in any way, shape or form to transport polling materials. In this Lagos State, a lot of people would have told me that it's not possible. Judiciary is corrupt, judiciary is this, but the judiciary excelled in their role because they clearly saw conflict of interest and they ruled in a way that history will remember them positively. So I am going to go into this with all that faith and hope in the same judiciary that they will do what is right. It's not about me, but Lagos is about Nigeria. We must save our democracy. I mean, the people that are doing all of these things were the people that fought against the military to preserve democracy or bring democracy back. These same people are now using militants to suppress the same democracy. So it comes on us, this new generation, to fight this fight to preserve our democracy. Thank you.
My name is Benjamin from Anytime. I can see that what you're pursuing is long term for all you've said. It's not just short term. Yeah, so what I want to say is this. I want to speak to the perception and mentality of people out there, especially young people. When you mentioned GRV at the presidential level, like when it was put out, a lot of people believe that they're too young to vie for this position. Lagos is too large, the economy, and all that, and you handling such an office, even at the presidential level, to help people candidate. So I don't know, what do you think you can do to actually change the perception of the mindset of young people? Young people that we can actually do this?
You see, I will not, people will always project their insecurities and their inabilities on other people, right? Mentally and intellectually, I've operated at the highest levels in this world, not in this country, in this world. And I have done a lot, right? So I don't subscribe to that. And the amount of votes that came out for us on Saturday shows that the majority of Lagosians do not subscribe to that notion. The majority of Lagosians want a governor that is not corrupt. They want a governor that has love and empathy. They want a governor that has cerebral capacity, that knows that even if they cannot manage this particular sphere, they can bring the best to manage it. A governor that would do everything possible to ensure that the interests of Lagosians is prioritized and is number one. And a governor that is not going to be using violence against them. Right? At the end of the day, your governor with all his experience in bank was quiet and saw thugs beating the people that he wants to govern. The entire government of APC, their commissioners, their essays, all of them were clapping when they were seeing all these thugs that were imported from outside Lagos coming to unleash mayhem and violence on the people of Lagos. They were quiet. When INEC announced the results that they wrote for them, they were dancing. But they saw the cuts on multiple people, not just Igbo people, Yoruba people, people from all over Nigeria. None of them have come out to say anything. That's why I say it is a diabolical, evil government. And we are coming with love and empathy. And that is the way Nigeria and Lagos is going to move forward. Thank you. You wanted to ask a question?
I'm Lester, signing from Port FM.
Okay.
Would you be considering legal measures against those you consider to be enablers of ethnic strife?
Certainly. The first thing that we're doing now is to get all our records so we can go to court fully, and because that is time bound. Next thing we are doing is we are making a list of all the people. We know the people in Trade Fair, we know the people in Kosho Fair that perpetrated and enabled all of this, and we are gathering evidence. And we are going to, see, nobody is going to get away with this. Because, see, this is not our body boy anymore. The moment these people get away with this, any further election in Lagos State is war. Is war. It just means that, okay, if I want to be governor of Lagos, I have to have a militant group. I have to have guns. Because, you see, they can do oro, they can shout, don't come, intimidate, push you. If you notice, MC Olomo came on video and say that he will do this, he will do that, pushing people. The next time they came with matches and cutlasses, they were dropping people into Lagos at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. in the morning. You were seeing parts of polling units had 20, 30 hooligans and thugs. Polling units, right? So I want to thank, we'll continue with the answers, but for those that are streaming live, I want to thank you for tuning in. And I call again on all well-meaning Lagosians to stand up and speak out. God bless you. We love you. Thank you.
All right, we've just been listening to the Labour Party's governorship candidate for Lagos State, Gbadebo Rhodes Viva, and he's come out to reveal that his party has piled up evidence of the extent of the violence that they allege took place during the just concluded March 18 governorship polls. And he has also created a portal for all those who were victims of the election violence in Lagos State. That's grvcares2023.com. And he hopes that people can submit their experiences as well as their pictures and videos of brutality that they experienced.